to the podcast show. We running this cash shit. White boy, we running this cash shit. Eddie the Chump, we running this cash shit. Jive Turkey, we running this cash shit. Wings of Redemption, we running this cash shit. It's a fact that we running this cash shit. The takeover, the break's over, nigga. The best podcast show. Game over. Hey,
What up?
other cast, y'all ain't ready
What's
for
going
war.
on, everybody? We got Wings choking redemption. Hold up, Wings, you alright? Oh, alright, alright. I got a. That was a great act right there. I got a little word right there. Eddie the Chump and
Yo,
White
yo.
Boy 7.
Wait, speaking
What's up,
of
everybody?
speaking of acting like you're getting choked, I was making a video earlier today, and I was overreacting. It was a Lego. I was stepping on Legos for a stupid challenge video, and then I was like, "This is kind of. I don't know how this is super entertaining." So I just started like acting. I was choking on the floor, and Kelly was streaming, and then she runs over and like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" She thought I was actually
That's good.
choking, and yeah, it made the video 10 times better because the video that I made was like trash. But Kelly came in and saved it. So she was
That's
actually
good.
concerned, and like she was it was great.
You know how to make
so-
stepping on Legos worse?
Hot sauce.
No. Do it with the lights off.
Oh yeah, like knowing that I was gonna step on the Lego definitely helped my feet. Because like when you're not expecting it, you put like all your weight on like one part of your foot, and then that's the part that steps on the Lego.
Let me tell you how to make this video, white boy. So you have
Alright.
Lego 2.0.
Okay.
Here's how you make this video. All right. You wait till it's a nice, bright, sunny day. All right. You go into a room and you board up all the windows. Not board up, but almost like take like cardboard and put over all the windows. Make sure that no light can seep through.
No light.
No light. Pitch black.
Zero.
Have
Zero
Kelly
light.
come in and randomly put pockets of Legos throughout the floor. You have to stand outside and you have to run inside and run through this room
Ah.
barefooted,
Lego gauntlet.
like a gauntlet. And you set up like little night vision cameras.
I like that.
You see, I always found that like Legos weren't too bad on my feet. They hurt. Have you ever stepped on a plug, an upturned plug?
Oh, that's worse. That's bad.
That is bad.
How about a dog bone? Like a
How about a
bone a
grenade?
dog chews on that's like raw and hide and hard.
Oh,
How about a grenade?
Never stepped on a grenade. Don't have too many of those laying around.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Southwest Philly, it's like that. It's like a war zone out here.
like,
no,
people
we
running
don't step
martyrdom
on
too
grenades.
much, or what's happening? What's happening there?
No, we don't step on grenades, but I actually stepped on a nail one time. Like, pause. It was up like this, and I stepped on it. It went in my fucking foot, and I was like, it came right out.
I stepped on a bee.
And it didn't hurt that much, but it was a nail.
You didn't like it rust. What's that called? Tetanus shot or something?
Tetanus, yeah.
Fuck no.
I stepped on a bee one time. I stepped on a bee and it stung my foot, but at the exact same time, I felt like a stinging pain right in my hand. I don't know if it was like a pressure point or something, but that was
Yeah,
because they both hurt the same.
I think I like brushed up against like a bee one time. It was like in my yard, and a bee was like on the wall, and I walked by it, and like I guess he jumped on me or something. I don't know, and then he stung me.
And he died.
Yeah, I guess I knocked it off and then left it there. I usually kill fucking shit like that, but I was just being a sweetheart.
You let it
Bees
sting
die-
you and
bees
you didn't kill
die.
it?
They die after they sting you, right?
Usually, yes.
Yeah, I just hit it off.
They rip the stinger off inside of you.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened because I had to like peel something. But that's the only time I ever got stung. Like, but I was older, so it didn't really.
I once, like, when I was younger at the beach, like really young, like summer holidays, and I had a can of drink, right? And I wanted to go swim, so I told my parents, "Look, this is my can of drink. There's like wasps and stuff, like going to sugary drinks and stuff like on a beach." I said, "Watch this, because I don't want to get stung, right?" So I go and swim. I'm out there for about 10 minutes. I come back, and I was like, "Did you watch my drink?" Both my parents were like, "Yeah, it's fine." And I take a swig of it, and something lands in my mouth, right? I'm like 8, and I immediately spit it out. And you wouldn't fucking believe it was a black queen wasp that I spat out onto the sand.
Was it
And I
still
was
alive? Like
Yeah, it was still alive. Can you imagine the fucking pain I would have felt if it stung my tongue?
I heard a story. Someone died like that because they were allergic to bees and it stung them.
Yeah.
Like,
Isn't that like the EpiPen like documentary video?
Yeah, no, it happened to me, but I didn't get stung. I'd like literally pause. As soon as I felt it hit my mouth, I spat it out.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that's mental. And I remember like being like 8 years old, looking at my dad and being like, thinking in my head, motherfucker, like, I trusted you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was really scary.
I've never been. Well, I got stung by a bee before, but I got stung in the hand. But it wasn't really that big of a deal.
No, you didn't hurt that much.
It hurt. I mean, like it gets sore. It's like getting pricked with a really bad needle.
Yeah, I would think like your hand would get swollen or like something.
I'm not
like
allergic to them though. I mean, like if you get allergic to the bee venom, you get swollen up real bad. I've seen this one guy. If you look on Google and you go like bee sting allergic or something like that, you see some gross fucking shit.
Yeah,
Bee sting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always bee sting.
I got stung the last day of summer camp, and I started crying on the way home.
Oh God.
I got stung
How old
right
were
at
you?
like maybe 12, 13. Got stung right
That's
in my.
too old. That's too old.
Right. It was very emotional. I was leaving summer camp. I just got stung with the bee. All right.
It
Yeah, that
knocked
is
you
like-
over the edge.
That is like a slap in the face, though.
Wait,
I
this
like-
one
I
has
like-
to be fake.
Yeah, that first one has to be fake, but like I love it when somebody gets stung on the damn lip and their lips blow up like was that Kylie Kardashian or whatever, Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
I bet you that has to be one of the worst ways to go
Okay,
though.
good.
Being stung to death.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God,
Jesus.
man! What the fuck? That guy, man.
Yeah, what if ants ate you to death? I think that would be worse.
He would kiss the shit out of somebody.
That first one's fake.
Kiss you to death.
That's obviously Photoshop.
Yeah, that guy would kiss you to death.
That's
God
crazy.
damn.
Like, what's worse, getting stung by bees or like you trapped like up to your head in sand and then there's like a bunch of red ants just crawling all over your
Red
face,
ant,
into
red
your
ant.
nose, up into your brain,
The ants.
and
Duh.
a slow death.
The whole idea of being trapped up to my neck in sand would bother me. Like
Yeah, right.
that would make me so claustrophobic.
I keep on having this nightmare about getting trapped in a locked safe, and it freaks me out every time I think about it.
That's like true claustrophobia.
That is
that's
not
like
something
yeah.
a fat person dreams about.
Yo, imagine being stuck. Imagine being stuck somewhere like this, like in sand or something.
Oh, I fear that.
Oh my God, I would have a better chance of being stuck like this because you could like move around, but like this, you can't get no leverage to even escape like at all.
There's one like scene in the prison show Oz. Have you seen the prison show Oz?
A little
Or
bit.
you know
Yeah.
of it?
It started getting too gay, so I stopped watching it. But
Yeah, it does get very
it
gay.
was
Yeah, I
gay.
can imagine.
So
Like
gay.
you would just there was so much gay shit happening. Like the pause turned into a stop.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
kicked
so-
my TV.
Let me ask you this, Jive. If two guys in Oz fucked a guy in Oz, is that still called a train?
a gay train, yeah.
Gay train.
At
Yeah.
what point does like two guys and something else become a threesome?
If two guys touch each other, if everybody touches each other, that's a threesome.
So the two guys got to be attracted to each other.
Yeah, they gotta be
Okay, we're
Yeah.
getting better definitions here.
Yeah, we're getting
if
better.
no, like say a girl, say me and you, Wings, we fuck a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course we won't touch each other, but the girl, that's a threesome for her.
Right.
But for us, it's just a gang
train.
bang, a train or whatever you want to call it. You know? But if I'm not there and you and another guy and the girl touch each other, that's a threesome for everybody.
Can I throw some salt in your game?
Throw some salt in the game. I won't be there if it's something gay. Come on.
All right. Here's some salt in your game. When you're in a woman's vaginal canal and you're enjoying yourself, your penis usually, secretes this thing called precum.
Okay.
And the precum will slowly coat the vaginal walls. So
Okay.
you going in right behind me and shoving your man meat in there,
With a condom.
wouldn't
yeah.
that not count as touching
With a
on
condom?
some form?
No, usually when I do something like that, it would be with a condom every time.
So if you
not
don't use a
ever.
condom, is that a threesome?
Why would you not use a condom?
You never
Safe
know.
sex, people. Safe sex.
Safe sex.
I'm asking the questions. I mean, this might come up somewhere. You might be in a porn.
Honestly, like seriously, every time I did something like with like my homies and shit, you use condoms. Like with two chicks, I didn't use a condom, but with my homies, I use a condom.
So this conversation isn't gay enough for me yet. So back to Oz, right? The beginning of the story. I was watching Oz. We're talking about claustrophobic fears. In one scene, there's this televangelist preacher who's gone to prison, right?
Mhm.
And he has a whole story arc. But eventually, what happens is he gets like a bomb goes off in the cafeteria, and they have to rebuild a wall. So what they do to this guy is the Aryan Brotherhood, like they trap him on the old wall and build a new wall in front of him. So they wall him in, and no one else knows where the fuck he is. So he's literally chained up with like 2 inches in front of his face, like space, cannot move, and he just dies. Like, how long would that take to die from that, and how scary would it be? Like, that's the worst.
That's bad. That's
Yeah.
I'm triggered.
Yeah.
This makes me almost want to talk about like prisons in general and how they use solitary confinement as a means of punishment for crimes that don't fit the bill.
Okay, so what's the premise?
The premise, I personally see solitary confinement as a very barbaric way to treat somebody. I mean, you go into a system or a setting where you have hardened criminals, guys that murdered people, rapists, guys that were just the scum of the earth. And how do you punish them? What happens when these people step out of line so far that you have to punish them? You put them by themselves. The reason you do this is because your brain can't handle that lack of sensory deprivation for long periods of time. And if you've ever been into like a solitary confinement area of like a prison ward, you'd expect it to be like silent because everybody's doing whatever they're doing. They're reading a book, they're looking at the wall, whatever. But what it really is just people screaming in agony and pain because they're slowly losing their grip on reality. And because they don't know what time of the day it is, they don't know what month it is, what part of the week it is, or if it's day or night. And I feel like that's something that every country on the earth should kind of ratchet back on using, because I don't feel like it's proper rehabilitation if you're going to call yourself a rehabilitation center.
Yeah.
That's just cruelty. That's torture.
When I was arrested, I did not know what fucking day it was. Like, we didn't have any windows or anything. And like, you don't know what time it is because it's the same lighting the whole time, no windows. You don't know what time it is. You don't have any watches, anything. I almost went crazy in there.
How long were you in there for, if you don't mind me asking?
Only 3 days.
Still though, I bet after 3 days
It was crazy. I ain't
Yeah.
know what day it was, nothing.
Yeah.
I got arrested twice. And both times I was in there for 3 days. And I think both times fucking weekend. If you get arrested a weekend, you know.
It's all bad.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Well, what can we do, Wings, to punish the people that are already punished by being in jail and they're already acting out in jail? Like, if I think going to solitary is like they're never gonna want to go back.
You have. I don't know. I mean, like, there's worse things than solitary. There is. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Django Unchained. They had this thing called a hot box.
Yeah.
That would be worse than solitary confinement because that's solitary confinement in a situation where you're going to be really, really dehydrated.
They did it in Japan as well in prisoner of war camps. They
Yeah,
used that stuff.
but I'm going to go with the ilk of this, that if somebody does something heinous in society, that you have to take them out of society. And do you ever hope to put them back into society, you should reward them lavishly. Not so much that, oh, everybody wants to go to prison to get these rewards, but you should reward them so that if they fly right and they try to put their life back on track, that they get rewarded well enough so it doesn't almost seems like it's not that they're not in a prison, that they're in some kind of home. But if they want to act out and fight with each other and do things of this nature, you slowly ratchet back to a prison type stability where you don't have no clocks, it's kind of cold,
Like
you lose
Maximum.
sensory deprivation, but you still don't isolate them completely. You give them a roommate, you give them somebody they can talk to, and you just slowly degrade it back depending on how their behavior works. Give them an incentive to be good.
So I kind of let me play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So this isn't the way that I feel, but I'm just going to say the arguments that a lot of people say when it comes to this sort of stuff. Number one is if you're giving if you're giving perpetrators of crimes second chances, especially with cases like murder, rape, all that kind of stuff. Some people make the argument that we cannot do that with those people because their crimes had victims, right, who might never have a second chance at being a decent human being. So if you're going to prioritize rehabilitation of the perpetrators of crimes, you've got to first look at the scale of what they did and whether they deserve a second chance. If you're a rapist, right, and you do a home invasion, right? So we like to say that prison is rehabilitation. But what does society do for the victim of that crime? Is it fair that that person who was once capable of doing that to somebody then gets a chance at a relatively normal life? Like, morally, is it fair?
Is it fair that the person that had their daughter killed has to pay to keep this man alive for 8 years or 11 years or however long his sentence is without him gaining any kind of moral upstanding or any type of job skills? And he's going to be interjected into a society where he's more likely to kill somebody else's daughter.
The case is that
The case is-
we spread the cost of prison care, but like that's a communal thing. We all pay tax, right?
Mhm.
So when people use that argument, and there's again devil's advocate, this isn't how I feel. When people use that argument, they're saying it like, my daughter was killed by this man, I am paying for this man's care. No, you're
In
not.
a way,
You're
you are.
No, you're not. You're not. You're not directly paying for that. You're essentially
Yes, you
paying
are.
into an.
Yes,
no,
you are.
no.
That's
you're
exactly
not.
how that works. I
No,
mean, you're not paying the
into,
whole.
no,
You're not paying
let
the
me
whole
finish.
tab.
Let me finish. You haven't let me finish at all.
Okay,
Right? You just interrupted me. Right? You're not paying directly. You're paying essentially into an insurance policy for society. You are paying a tiny fraction of that individual's care. You're actually paying for prison. You're not paying for your daughter's rapist to get a second chance at life. You're paying for the prison system. And yeah, because he's in prison, there's a tiny fraction of your income tax that will go towards that. But you're not like handing the warden the money. Okay, so I had this horrific thing done to me. Here's $10,000 for his care for a year. That's not, when people do that, that's the kind of equivalency that they're trying to make. But it's not like that. It's fractional.
I
It's
wasn't.
tiny.
I wasn't trying to make that equivalency at all. What I was trying to say is that in some form or way that you're putting money into a system that's going to basically not help the person in any way, shape, or form.
Even if it's not the person that did it, it's another person that did something similar to that to somebody else that they're paying for.
And
So,
I'm
like,
on to point this out. Then unless you do
But
something
that's real good
super
arguments.
horrendous, unless you give something super horrendous, something like second-degree murder in the United States doesn't carry a life sentence. So at some point, they're going to make parole, or they're going to get out by serving their time, and they're still going to be alive because I think second-degree murder is something like 10 to 15 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're going to probably be able to be introduced back in society. Would you rather that person just be punished for 15 years and beaten down and institutionalized? Or would you rather that person realize what he did wrong, show steps to correct himself, and come out as a productive member of society. Because if you start building productive members of society, things such as you have a prison record aren't going to be looked down upon as much, and it's going to keep people from staying in the system. Keeping people in the system is a money like laundering thing that the government does.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so here's not really a counter argument to that, but it's an interesting detail. I agree with most of what you say. Actually, I have to say, from my own point of view, like I think that if we're honest about should it be rehabilitation, then we should make serious efforts to actually rehabilitate people. But here's the interesting thing: is that if you introduce these schemes for prisoners, right? What you're really talking about when in real world terms is education, right? So you're looking to educate people, some of them for the first time. You're teaching them employable skills, and you're giving them a pathway to opportunity. Now, there are people who have done no crimes in America that would love those opportunities that don't get them, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's a reason to not do that, but society itself is reluctant to address those issues, even amongst those that aren't committing crimes. So although I agree with you, it's something that we should do, right? The world is a better place with more smart people. That is just true, right? So if we educate people who go into prison, we give them, like you say, like life skills and trades or whatever, right? So that they can be productive. Some of those people in society that live in fucking ghettos, let's be honest, are going to want those opportunities. Maybe you don't want a situation where the shortest way to get that opportunity is to go to prison, right? Like you don't want that.
Well, isn't that what homeless people do? They just go to prison so they can have they do some petty crime during the winter, so they have like heat and food during the
I guarantee you, if I was homeless, I would slap the shit out the first cop I seen when it was cold as fuck outside.
Yeah, definitely. But they do try to take them to shelters and stuff, and they don't be wanting to go.
But there are a lot of programs like that, Eddie, where people who are down or want to improve themselves can.
There's not enough, and like this is getting into American politics. Somebody like Bernie Sanders is probably going to work towards fixing the situation. Trying to get college education being free, trying to make it so that there's more job programs for people that only have a high school education or maybe even a high school dropout, so that there is no excuse that I can't afford this. It's free. You go to it, you get job skills, you take those job skills and you earn a living, and that's the way have better spending power. I think if you have that system in place, and then you have the system we talked about in prison set up as it's more mandatory than it is suggestive, that would work better, because you have these opportunities right there for you, and everybody's doing it, and everybody don't have to worry about somebody not pulling the wagon. I don't know. I might be full of shit.
But there's a lot of people who just don't want to pull the wagon and who are just going to be degens for the rest of their life.
I'm that motherfucker that doesn't want to pull the wagon. That's how I know you're that's how I know your shit's full of shit, because like I'm at the point in my life where I don't think I'm physically able to pull the wagon, but at the same time I have the desire to do it. I think the people that actually don't want to do anything with life other than watch soap operas and like smoke Pall Mall cigarettes, those are few and far between. Those are such a small percentage of our culture that it's almost insignificant to worry about them.
Yeah, I would agree with Geordie here. So what generally happens is that certain political parties, I'll leave you to guess which ones they are, right? Their agenda is saying that there are people that create and generate wealth, and then there are people that take that from others, right? So the proportion of what, I'm not saying those people don't exist. They do. They do exist. There are people that don't want to work, don't want to do anything with their lives, all that kind of stuff. However, their actual numbers are always radically overestimated. And it's more a cultural war than it is a real one, right? So the idea of being labeled as lazy and unproductive, or it's much better for some people's agenda to say about a whole bunch of people that, oh, it's just because they don't want to work, right? It's much better for them to convince other people that there's a lot more of those people than there actually are. I agree with Geordie. That true like deadbeat bum. I don't know. I don't want to pull the wagon. No, I want to watch fucking Mexican weather channels for the hot chicks and smoke weed all day, like, and collect government checks. That's actually a tiny percentage of the American populace, like really small, right? And actually, I think unavoidable. In any society, there's always going to be people who don't want to do anything, unfortunately. But it's way smaller than you think it is. But
I mean,
Well-
I'm a 400-pound man, dude, and even I have worked. I found a way to make money when I couldn't physically work anymore, and I found ways and mediums to basically be a productive member of society. I don't think anybody, no matter what size or shape they are, doesn't want to feel proud about something. Pride is a double-edged sword.
Definitely.
what were you going to say, white boy?
Because
Well, I mean, just growing up on 7th Street, maybe I have a different view of it, but I've known a lot of people on my own block who take advantage of government programs and who can get a job, but why would they get a
they get
job
spoiled.
when they can get a free check and maybe make a little bit of money on the side, doing little odd jobs here and there? I don't know. From I mean, I grew up on 7th Street, so it's probably maybe that's why they were in the ghetto, because they weren't trying as hard as they could, and maybe they were. I mean, I think another thing is people get content with how they're living, and they're like, it's or I got an air conditioner, I get cable, and let's not work any harder because
Yeah,
I
let's just
enjoy
chill.
my free time. I enjoy my Sundays watching the Packers. I enjoy, Saturday, whatever, going out drinking. So that's my
Can I play?
point.
Let me play
I
devil's
think
advocate.
I think more people want to work than just chill. Like it's a lot of people that just want to chill and get government checks and shit like that. I think it should be drug testing for that shit.
Let me play devil's advocate to this point first. You're saying that the people on 7th Street
Well,
wanted
on
to-
7th Street's classy. 6th Street, 5th Street. Like, okay.
that general area, 2 or 3 roads over, give or take a road. They wanted to live off the government cheese. They wanted to live off a check that they got, and they wanted to do something like, I don't know, sell marijuana or sell some kind of drug or sell some type of item in a house that they might have to just make ends meet and just get by. That is a product of having a low minimum wage. That is exactly what that is. If you could go out and work at Burger King and make twice of what your check would be, it would give you incentive to be a part of the workforce and not a part of the, I don't want to use the word entitlement because I hate that fucking word, but basically living off of government checks or government money or the people that pay taxes. You got to make it worth people's while to not sit around, have babies, and want to basically give them pride. One of the things I had in my life when I was feeling down, because one of the big turning points in my life was the first time I got my truck. It showed that my mother wanted to give me responsibility. It gave me something I enjoyed. It gave me a sense of freedom, and all these things combined wanted me to become a better person in life. And I think a lot of the people that want to sit there and watch the Packers game and do nothing else don't have whatever it needs to have that motivation, that MacGuffin that they're searching for.
I wanted to say this. When my dad passed away, I was getting checks, I don't know, SSI or something, and I almost failed high school so I could get another year of those checks because I would only get the checks if I was in school, and I don't know if I just felt that all I have to do is fail high school to get another. I didn't, but
Let me ask you this, white boy.
Are
really
you
hi-
sure it was high school or it was a certain age?
It was
Yeah.
up to 18 or if you're still in school.
Oh,
Let me
okay,
ask you,
all right.
let me ask you this, white boy. There's some point in your life in the last 5 to 6 years that you went from a guy that ate pizza and smoked pot most of the day with a small YouTube channel that wasn't going nowhere to a guy that was an entrepreneur that seen opportunities that other people didn't see in ways to grow your life. What changed? What made that jump?
That's a very good question.
What made the jump? I mean, just me getting YouTube views. I think I'm not. I mean, I wanted the money. I didn't. I mean, I had an escape. I was really depressed, dealing with my mom and dad dying, and I don't know. It was just me being sad and making YouTube videos.
What did that YouTube success give you, though?
Kitty Kondo.
It gave you pride. It made you proud of something that you were doing. And that's what I was saying. That was your MacGuffin. You found what you needed to become that next level of white boy. And I think a lot of people that are in that situation, they have a choice. They can either fall lower or they can climb higher. Some people need that middle ground. And it's not about being lazy. Lazy is a cop-out. Yes, are there lazy people? Yes. I mean, everybody's lazy at some point in their life. But it's all about motivation. That's why motivation is so prevalent in like speeches that you see in like working out and things like that. Because people, working out sucks. You're sore, you're hungry, you're tired. You don't see the benefits till like a week later when you got extra energy and your body starts to look a little bit better. But you got to get up when you're sore, you're tired, your legs hurt. You gotta work out like there's a wolf after you, and you got to be able to beat that wolf. You got to find that motivation, that fire inside of you. And that is what people need. And that's what we should be pointing towards with that kind of situation.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Wait. Aren't we kind of doing that in our American society with the BMWs and the fancy watches? Like, that's what people are going after now.
They're given unattainable goals with the BMWs and all that shit.
I think it's very. I had this argument with someone who was someone who was a shipping magnate, right? So he was the son of a super wealthy, old money British family, right? Super wealthy, right? Never have to work again in his life. And I had this discussion with him. And I was saying part of the reason, like, he obviously voted Conservative, as is his want or whatever. And I wasn't like arguing with him like, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. I was just like, the people who are on benefits, right, what they see is they see enormous wealth everywhere, on TV, in magazines, you know, like in print journalism, all that, everywhere, on the internet, everywhere, right? They see this incredible wealth. And I think for a lot of people, they don't understand how any of that relates to them. I don't think they understand how they can go out and get that stuff. Because shitty schools are shitty schools, man, and they won't teach you what you need to know. Like, most people won't know that being self-employed is even an option, right? Most people don't understand that starting and running your own business and building something from the ground up isn't an option because they're not taught that as kids. There's only been a few what I call natural entrepreneurs that I've ever met in my life. And they are, I think they are kind of born that way, or however they're raised as a kid teaches them the right lessons. Like, I know Keemstar on a personal level, and I'm just going to bring him up very quickly. Like, I've never met anyone that is like, so here's an exploitable opportunity, here's an exploitable opportunity, here's an exploitable opportunity, right?
White boy.
Like, White Boy is one as well. Like, you did that Meek Mill video. You saw it, you saw the gap. You went, bang, I'm going to do it there. Like, you made that decision, right? But that's because your life has taught you those lessons. YouTube taught you that. Do you know what I mean? Like, your upbringing would have taught you that. There are people in shitty schools in shitty parts of the country with no employment, high rates of crime, that don't even know that's a fucking option. They don't even know, hey, I can make something for myself. They don't know that, right? So as much as I'm like, there are entitlement programs where I'm like, that seems like a fucking waste of time. Like, I don't understand in the American context how it's a good idea to pay poor people to have more kids. That is something I think we can all agree with. It's not a good idea. Because guess what? You just have shitloads more poor people, right? And that makes the problem worse. Like, I think that even as a progressive, that's an entitlement program that I'm like, that's just clearly not right.
But the UK
right?
has the same kind of entitlement programs.
Sort of. It's not, they don't get paid for having more kids. They don't actually get paid for having more kids. They get support up until a certain amount, no matter how many kids they have. So, you know, like that is a policy that I think
So
we can all
you get rewarded for having less kids,
kind
basically.
sort of, but it is a similar problem. I'm not going to dress it up and say it's not, but you know, I think if we just had business lessons with people, like you teach people basic business. Hey, you know, like there's loads of businesses that you can do for yourself, like ordering like electronic products from China, creating an online shop, and you know, importing them and selling them here and all that kind of stuff. Like there's loads of shitty little businesses that people could run that they just don't even know exist, and they don't know how to begin. Like they don't.
I mean, with the internet now, you can do anything. I've known Kelly. She used to sell like She would buy collector's edition things and sell them. Like, look at the Black Ops 3 fridge. Is like it was pre-ordered for 200. People are buying them for like 800.
Yeah.
People, you can sell on Amazon. You can sell things on Amazon and use their like.
Don't even touch it.
Yeah. Well, there's. I was looking for Steam gift cards because I'm a little addicted to cases, and I have been banned.
Why you just scratch like that? Like,
because I'm addicted.
Really
I am addicted.
Good, that crack scratch.
Yeah. So I was looking to buy gift cards because I couldn't use PayPal anymore, and on Amazon, people sell $50 gift cards for $60, and I'm pretty sure they sell a little bit.
You got banned from PayPal?
No, I just got like timed out if you spend too much. I spent like $250 on.
Yeah, you get trade banned on CS:GO. You can't put more. You can't put more PayPal money into Steam because it's a protection against fraud, basically.
It only lasted like 3 days.
Yeah.
I'm back in there.
It just times you out. It just goes, no, you've added too much money.
That's a good program to have.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah.
So
yeah, carry on with the story.
Like online, you could do anything. I've seen one guy. I mean, this is illegal and don't do it, but you know, Lyric. He's one of the biggest Twitch streamers. I saw him reporting to my Spreadshirt. He was like, "This guy's selling fake T-shirts. Like, this isn't me. He's selling T-shirts." But he
did what?
Basically,
someone sold fake Lyric T-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For cheaper than Lyric was selling them, I think. And
counterfeit goods is one of the oldest industries of the human race. Like, as soon as like there was like items that became desirable, someone faked it. Like,
you know, did we talk about China faking eggs? Like they make fake, like they're eggs with nutrition in it, but it was cheaper to make the fake eggs
than have real eggs.
Yeah.
What?
With like some powder.
Dude, there's a console in China that is basically the Xbox One. Like, if you want to know about like copyright and intellectual property in the West, we're kind of protective about it. China is just the fucking Wild West. They will just everyone will rip everyone off 24/7. 24/7.
I think the Middle East is like that too, because my brother came back. He had a stack of DVDs this fucking large with every movie, and he'd pay him on the street corner like $1 for like 10 movies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
China, I think China is probably the capital. Jordans, they got every fucking thing, man.
Yeah, they've got everything.
Fake iPods.
The funny thing that happens is that when everyone's counterfeiting, that obviously drives the quality of the counterfeits up because they've got to compete with each other, right? So it's like an illegal side industry where people are trying to create the best iPhone copies, right? The best fake Gucci bags.
Didn't somebody like sell their kid to get an iPhone because it's like a status symbol?
They sold kidney to get an iPad.
Damn, like that kind of gives you like. People don't like to use the term white privilege, but like when I wanted an iPad, I went to the Best Buy and used my Best Buy credit card.
That's crazy.
You know, it's like I didn't have to give a kidney up for it.
Yeah. I would say kidney for an iPad, probably a bad trade. They're not that great.
Did he put it where his kidney was and it played music there?
Like Iron Man and shit?
Yeah.
No, right.
He'll probably be the coolest guy for a little while. Until too much blood get in the iPad. Never mind.
Wins, didn't you want to talk? We're talking about kids and welfare and having more kids. You wanted to talk about something about having more kids makes you less happy, or I'm not sure.
No. First, before we even started, he said he was getting pussy all day, and I was proud. I was proud
Yeah,
of him.
that is legitimate.
That's legit. Tell us
Congratulations.
about that first.
Well, I streamed today, and I got pussy before and after the stream.
That's just how Wings rolls.
That's how it goes down. Has nobody else done that? I know Eddie's at least done that once.
Slow
Yep.
clap.
I don't
White
make
boy?
a big deal out of it though, because to me, it ain't no thing, you know.
Look, I had to make a
look at
big
these
deal
guys.
because, like, I had to make a big deal because
No, I'm not saying. I'm not.
big
dissing you, I just
dudes
thought it was
look.
funny.
That people look at me and be like, "How is this motherfucker getting pussy and
One
I'm
and
not?"
done. Big dudes one and done. That's probably what they look at.
Oh hell no!
You probably got a little bit of pussy before and then streamed and then you said, fuck
How
it,
long
I'm-
was your
I'm
stream?
good, I'm tired.
About 2 hours.
Was it that New Vegas stream?
No, that was the other night. I did Dungeon Siege 3 today.
Oh, you,
I'm glad that you're streaming more. Can I just say that? I'm
On
really
the
glad.
hardest level, right?
Yeah, hardest difficulty always.
Real men play on hard.
Damn straight.
I don't want to bring this
Oh,
up, but there's a wonderful series that me and Geordie are doing, playing through Resident Evil 5, and I think I may have cost Geordie an S rank in one of the levels because I died and got an S rank, and because I died, he got an A rank. So Geordie's not happy with me about
Well,
that.
I can't take the complete blame on that. I mean, like, one, my accuracy was like 3 points too low, but like if I wouldn't have had that death, it would have still been an S rank for both of us.
Yeah. So I
That's-
kind of, yeah. I
I'm gonna
fucked
get you
Geordie out
back,
of that.
Eddie, because
Yeah.
we're gonna play Resident Evil 6 on No Hope.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Wings
One hit
is
death.
a real competitive game with, man.
No, that's been a lot of fun, to be fair. Talking of white privilege, I just want to direct you to the fact that White Boy opened some cases over the weekend, and I opened a rather substantial amount of cases, and White Boy clearly has white privilege because he's again unlocked knives and all kinds of triggering things for me, and out of about 75 cases, I got about 67 blues,
How much
which is
these
the
cases
lowest tier.
cost?
the cases are cheap. The keys are expensive.
Yeah,
$3
$2.50 for one.
Yeah. Now
One case?
to make you feel
One case.
So
Do you know
you
what was
spent
funny?
like $300 on these
I didn't
cases.
spend $300. I tell you what happened was I had some spare keys that I won from betting, from like skin betting and stuff as like betting rewards. So I was opening a few cases, and then my stream just went donation mad. Like people were like, I was like, okay, I'm done opening cases, and then someone would donate like $45, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm just doing these cases. We get to the end of the case, and someone else was like, okay, here's $70. You're not going anywhere. Sit there and open cases for me, bitch. So I carried on going, and I didn't get fucking anything. And then little do I hear, I see on Twitter, Gaben is good to me from White Boy 7th Street, and I'm at like fucking maximum trigger reading this. Like, I can't believe it. Like, I have opened in my whole career like 150 cases. I've got one red item. One.
So
And,
what
like-
was the color ranks?
Red is
blue,
the top.
purple.
Red is the top, apart from gold, which is the knife. So White
Gold.
Boy's had like 4 golds, and I've had 1 red.
Look, he's got to match his gold medals.
Exactly. Now, and my competitive wins, which I have 4 now. So I'm trying to get a knife per competitive win. Now, I will say this: I did spend about $200 after that on breakout cases, and it has not been good to me. So I'm done with breakout after
Look,
that. But
can I-
hold on. It was incredible, the opening. When it was Gaben versus Bill Gates, I'm going to upload this. And so what happened is my Windows had an automatic restart. And so I have 15 minutes before I have to restart the computer. It shows up on the stream. So I'm like speed running cases, and the last freaking case, I get a knife before I have to restart. And
Yeah, it was like a clutch moment. Gaben came in clutch for you. I was in the stream at that point. I was like, no, I'm done.
oh, and then before that, I had an esports case, and then I was like optic nade shot. I got a pink from that, a pink op. I forgot exactly what it was, but then before that, even before like 15 minutes before that, I get a $400 knife. Eddie, can you talk about? So I'm getting into the CS:GO community, and I got this factory new Doppler, and
Yeah.
it's almost all blue, but it's not completely all blue. Like, can that knife be 100% blue? I'll try to show it on the.
Hardly any knife. As far as I know, I have never seen a 100% blue Doppler, but it's It's technically possible. It's a random number that's generated, but I suppose the number you get is just as likely as 100%, but I've never seen it. So it's worth a lot of money, the knife you got. A lot of money.
Yeah, so that's kind of made me open up. I wanted a butterfly knife. I don't know why.
Yeah, I wanted one too. I wanted a butterfly knife. Breakout cases have fucked me.
I think that's why they're 3 cents. I'm almost pretty sure people have like it. So it says an exceedingly rare item, and people said the odds don't change, but it says exceedingly rare, and then there's been so many breakout cases that have been opened, and so many butterfly knives have already been opened. I don't know. I haven't seen that breakout knife. I saw Syndicate open like $500 worth, not even $500, 500 pounds worth of cases.
No, 500 cases.
500 cases.
Yeah, I was watching that stream. Did you see him get like 4
Kois?
Nova shotguns in a row?
That was insane.
Crazy.
So he kind of triggered me to opening them, but yeah, I've been playing a lot more CS:GO, and I like it a lot. I shit on a kid the other day, and it made me feel good.
Yeah.
I just I'm just lining up the headshots and not like, and I feel like H1Z1 is like that a lot because I know the developers of H1Z1 are big CS:GO fans, and they have the CS:GO case opening thing where it like click 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 clicks.
Yeah.
And there's rare items and stuff like that. And
a lot of people, when you can attest to this, but when people first start playing CS:GO, and Jive, you've played CS:GO, haven't you? Like you've played it and you found it really difficult. The number one thing that people find really difficult is they don't understand how to not move and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't understand that's not like, oh, you can't move a little. No, if you move while shooting, your bullets go everywhere, and it becomes impossible to control. Once people start getting adjusted to that, then you start getting better. Like, and that's the first barrier of entry. Like, if you're good at COD, you're used to strafing all the time, to making yourself a hard target. There's none of that in CS:GO. No, you have to walk in, see someone, and blow his fucking head off. Because if you don't blow his head off, he's going to shoot you straight in the face. Like, that's what the game is. It's that is the game. And if you don't like that, fine. Like, don't play CS:GO.
You could strafe, but you gotta like literally stop.
Yeah.
Before you shoot, like you gotta strafe, shoot, strafe, stop, shoot.
There's a technique called counter strafing, which is like, say if you're holding on your keyboard, you're holding the D key, so you're strafing to the right. If you're strafing and you see someone and your crosshair is just about to hit their head, if you tap W and fire at the same time, that first bullet will be 100% accurate, right? So people are strafing, tapping W and fire if they're strafing right, and then carrying on strafing right. And in the game, it looks like you're still walking. Like, they won't be able to tell that you've stopped for a fraction of a second, but that technique is what people who get really good are really good at. And a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, like they don't. There's so much in the game that's so. You have to play the game for such a long time.
Oh yeah, that's crazy muscle memory right there.
Yeah, like it's crazy, and CS:GO is so hard that people have created practice maps to deliberately practice this tiny singular skill. Like counter strafing is such a tiny part of the game. Like it's not even really to do with your aim; it's to do with your coordination. Like there's maps where you just practice that, and then there's other maps where you just practice. You don't move; you just practice your aim. And then there's maps where you don't even move or aim, you just practice the recoil pattern. Like that's how deep a game that is.
Now what about surfing? What is that practicing, or is
okay,
that
so
just...
surfing is teaching you how to move quickly and efficiently through the map. So the way that CS:GO works, obviously it's like an S&D, right? Whoever gets to the power positions first has the advantage. Right? So getting to your spot, whether you're attacking or defending, first is a massive deal. So what surfing does is it teaches you how to move and bunny hop, so you can move, jump, and keep your momentum. So you can essentially, it's about improving your movement speed to get to where you need to be quicker. That's what it is. And it also obviously helps with like avoiding being shot and stuff like that. But that's what it's for. That's a whole different skill. Like you can have a great shot and have terrible movement and you'll still do shit.
Yeah, CS:GO I like the game. I wish there was kill streaks. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish there was I kind of joke about that, but I wish, like, I really like Arms Race, and I wish there was a little bit more casual things to like get me used to the game a little bit more. I don't like going into like, because I know as a League of Legends player, when I play competitive, I hate when I have to carry somebody or someone just feeds and like is really bad, and it impacts the game a little less than CS:GO, I guess, because it's 5 people on League and was it 6 on?
No, it's 5. It affects it just the same. It's just that because it's so adversarial, it's like one person can kill 5 people.
Yeah.
Right? So it affects it less in that way, but it's still all these like highly competitive games. That's why their communities are so toxic, is because a bad player really stands out. The skill gap is so huge that someone who's bad compared to an average player, I mean, the difference is like us to Scumpy.
And it's weird playing unranked because I'm like getting placed with all these different skills. Like one game, like I lost one really competitive game, and then the next game, like you could tell just by on the mics, like one game was super competitive with call outs. I think I got kicked from it at one point. And then the next game are these kids just joking around, like juggling knives and I don't know, just having fun.
Yeah, if you're playing it, if you're listening to this podcast and you've never played CS:GO and you come from COD, my first recommendation to do is to set your crosshair to dynamic. That'll tell you when you can shoot, because it will get smaller when you stop, which means you're more accurate. And play deathmatch a lot, all right? And use the main rifles. That if you're on the counter-terrorist side, use the silenced M4. If you're on the terrorist side, use the AK and get used to those weapons, because they're the weapons that you'll end up using the most. Like that is how you go from shitter to not quite so shitter status as quick as possible.
I was shooting fucking bullet holes around everyone when I was fucking playing, man.
Giving them the Pulp Fiction treatment.
Yo,
that's
crazy.
what we call,
I couldn't hit nobody.
Amongst like seasoned players, that's a moment when you do something like that. The CS:GO like etiquette is to say, I don't want to talk about it. That's the right. If you ever do that in a competitive game and you completely like whiff, just go, I don't want to talk about it, and then people will leave you alone.
It really is a skill-based game, though. To be honest.
Yeah.
Like that's a game that probably needs skill-based matchmaking, not COD.
Yeah, well, it does. Yeah, it does have it. What do you guys want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Black Ops 3, which is going on right now for specially invited people?
Wings.
Do you guys want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about something else?
I mean, we talked about Black Ops 3 a lot. I've been watching a few streams, and I've noticed after seeing more gameplay that I'm not as scared of the jump mechanic as I was before, because how it resets, and people don't even use it that much. There's a few people who are like, I don't know, ADHD jumping all over the place, but I don't think it helps like Advanced Warfare.
But to be fair, when you're watching, most of these people are people who play the game how it's supposed to be played. Like the people who got the pre-order.
Okay.
Most people that get the game early, most people that pre-order the game and stuff like that, most people that are playing now are like the people who play the game, like, you know what I mean? Except like Swifter or whatever his name is. I saw him.
Yeah, there's a lot of big YouTubers that have nothing
blindfolded or something.
Yeah.
Maybe because he sucks, so he like, all right, I'm gonna play blindfolded. Fuck it, that's my excuse for dying all the damn time.
So I was before we did the podcast, I was in a call with Fearcrads, Weagle, and iTemp, right? And they're all good friends of mine. And they've all got it, right? They've all got PS4s and they all got early codes. And they're playing it, and like their impressions, like Rich iTemp is well known for saying that if you have to use a scuff, then you're shit at the game, right? That's just one of his attitudes, like, because he plays Claw, he's never needed it, right? So he's always joking about it, like bantering about it. After about 3 minutes, he was like, "Fuck, I'm going to need a scuff." No, he said, "I'm going to need a scuff." And his reasoning was, and this is something you don't find out unless you'd played it or you'd been speaking to them.
I played Claw.
Yeah. Right, okay, so this is important for you, is that when you use the boost, right, it's the double tap is one tap and then you have to hold the jump button.
Yeah, that's kind of difficult.
Yeah, so he was saying, I played Claw, this is fucking impossible, right? Because you, like, normally Claw is like, just tap it and you jump shot, right? You do it at the right time.
Yeah,
But
you
you
can't
have to
really
hold it.
hold because you're
Yeah.
hitting sideways. Like,
Yeah, you have to hold it. So he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get a scuff."
hold on.
So
Yeah, that
That's
was
fucked
starting
up.
to hurt. That
It's a
was
good thing. It's a good thing I camp because like I don't play claw. I just go to the X button really quickly to jump,
yeah,
and like I couldn't do this and not be able to come back to the shoot button.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like not being able to aim while jumping is a big deal. However, new in this, which I didn't know, I only found out through talking to Mike, is that there's a bumper jumper layout in Call of Duty now, which has never happened before. So instead of your bumpers being what like grenade and tactical,
Stun
you can have
grenade.
one to jump. So you can keep your aim on the stick using bumper jumper.
That's
So
cool.
so I think a lot of people are going to use that and not buy a scuff.
One thing I noticed about the beta, I was worried about the map flow, and I think a lot of people were worried. There is a B flag. It's on like I don't know what map. It's really a green map,
And
and
it's no movement in it.
there's like a big hole in the middle of it where you have to wall run on. I'm not sure exactly.
Wow.
But-
I didn't.
What were you gonna say, Jive?
Go ahead. I think
Okay.
I got something.
The B flag was basically there was like one building. It was 2 stories, and then it was kind of a flat area getting to the B site. There's just big lightning.
I heard that.
Anyways, there was those 2 areas that you had to defend, or you could come through the wall and run on the wall and get to the B flag. And I was watching the gameplay, and it looked like it was pretty good. Like I remember the B flag in Detroit, people could come through the 2 doors to the top, and that was a little too much. But I think them coming from the side, it's just got to work better for Call of Duty, because Advanced Warfare, you were aiming in the sky too much, which was not Call of Duty.
Annoying.
It was not Call of Duty, but this one looked like I watched the guy. He was like defending from that. I think he was defending the 2-story, and then he saw someone come from the right on the wall, and he took him out. And it looked, I don't know, it looked pretty cool. But at the same time, if it was like 2009, 2010, I would be like I would be watching every single stream. I wouldn't even be paying attention to the podcast, really. But wait, oh shit. Tornado warning in this area till 7:45. I'll see you guys later.
Your phone is cracked.
Yeah, it's cracked as fuck. No, I'll be okay. But there's
Oh
a
my
tornado warning.
goodness. Did the tornado do that?
I think so.
He just showed it to us. The
Hold on, I'll be right
tornado
back.
did that? Oh shit. Yo, did you see that, guys?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna open my
I'll say
window.
one thing. I'll say one
There's
thing.
no
that-
quick scoping. That's what I fucking love right now.
Right, okay, so yeah, there's a couple of really weird changes. Right, so the guys were telling me they found it really strange is that sniping does have no aim assist. That is true.
For now.
Sniping has no aim assist, and something really weird. They've done something really weird to scoped rifles, and that includes the ACOG, that includes everything that has magnification, is that the sensitivity when you're aimed in is the same as when you're from the hip. So it doesn't slow down anymore when you aim in, right? So it's made sniping quite difficult, actually. Apparently it's really difficult, like really, really, really
Yeah.
difficult. People are not going to be doing it a lot.
Right now, Eddie, do you think they will change that
Yes.
from people bitching? I think they will change it.
They
Just say
might-
yes or no. Just say yes or no. Do you think they
I
will
would think
change
they'd
it?
have to. I would think they'd have to, because that's a significant
For
part of the COD audience.
across the board? Look, the wings hand. The wings hand. Across the board, or just the assault rifles or whatever?
Are you talking about the aiming?
Or would they just tweak everything with the scope? With the scope,
Oh, right. What you mean? The aiming at the same speed? You mean
the
sensitivity being
wobbly hip fire.
same? No. No. All right. Okay. I thought you were talking about aim assist. No, I don't think they'll change that. No, I think that'll stay the same.
So I'm talking kind of aim assist. Also, I'm talking about scoped in. Like I was watching people try to quick scope, and it was horrible. Like
Yeah.
they were
This is-
literally missing. Like Hutch took a couple shots, and he was literally here. and the guy was all the way over here just missing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and he like, yo, it just feels wobbly, like it's loose or something when you
Yeah,
scope
it's
in.
really loose. It's the same sensitivity. No, they will not change that. I think that will be the same.
Okay.
I don't.
I think they will change it
Can I-
eventually before the game.
They might give you an
gets-
option. They might patch it so that you can set the sensitivity. That might happen.
I want to say this. I want to say this. What Eddie's talking about, which I have no experience with, but what that sounds like is a bug. It sounds like it's
It's
something
not a
that's
bug. It's
not.
deliberate.
Did they
It's
say?
deliberate.
Did they come out and say it's deliberate?
Yes.
Because like the ACOG has always been fucking shit. Why would they nerf it even more? It's not like people are putting ACOGs on M4s and like owning everybody in MLG.
In
ACOGs or scope scopes?
apparently, this is just what people who have played the game have told me, right? And I was in the call while they were playing. Apparently, with the ACOG sight, it's actually a massive advantage because there's aim assist on assault rifles with an ACOG scope. Every other scope rifle has aim assist except for snipers.
My tornado siren's going off.
I hear it.
I'm not exactly sure what to do. I
That's
kind
the
of.
podcast show.
I kind of.
This is your podcast show this week, White Boy. I suggest that you
You know what I suggest? See if you can move your webcam out the window so we can watch the tornado too.
No, here's
Yo,
what I
guys,
suggest.
tornadoes are real, man. You
Yeah.
can't make
Yeah, they
fun of
never
it.
did the horn before.
Yeah, get you and Kelly safe, and we'll re-record
Yeah.
an extra part of the show when you come back.
All right.
It looked like when White Boy get up, it's gonna be Dookie in his seat. Like he's
Yeah.
literally shitting on himself.
Okay.
right
Don't
now.
Can you
don't
put
spend
somebody
your
near the
last. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna blast my mic. I'm sorry if it's really loud.
That's a fucking siren, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that shit is loud.
That's
Real
a good
life
ass
drama
microphone
on the
that
podcast
White Boy
show.
has.
All right, I'm gonna take shelter in the basement. We've been recording for an hour.
Okay. Yeah, get safe, and we'll see you another time.
If we have a short podcast show this week, I'm sorry, Mother Nature calls.
Yeah. See you
We'll
later. Dude. Be safe,
definitely
yeah?
we'll definitely make it up to everybody. Pause in a straight way. All right.
All right, see you guys.
See you later.
Bye.